Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a different kind of video for an end of the year wrap up. In this video I'm going to be talking about the 2024 items, products, systems, planners, whatever it is that did not work for me this year. Things that I thought I was going to fall in love with, things that I really thought were going to stick for me this year, and they just flopped. So let's go over my 2024 flops. First, I want to talk about some products. These are kind of some easy things that I can mention, and this first one might be the biggest surprise in this product section, and it is actually a Classiky box. I had been wanting a Classiky box for a very long time, ever since I really kind of entered the traveler's notebook and stamp collecting side of the journaling community. And this Classiky box is just such a nice display and storage piece that I had seen in a lot of people's setups and photos, videos of the people's desk and how they journal and how they organize their things. And I had wanted one for a while. It is very, very pricey retail value. I was able to get this at a very discounted price because of a D-stash, and had it not been for that price, I really would not have probably purchased it, just because I wasn't willing to purchase it at the full retail price. I can't remember what it was, but it was a significant discount, given that it was being purchased second hand or used from another journaler. So here is the box. I used this and set it up a couple of times when I was in Italy and had it on my desk. My desk here in California is a lot larger, almost double the size of the desk I had in Italy. And this was kind of the main thing sitting on my desk. Now this really is how it's been for me. All this stuff in here, it just kind of holds a lot of items that I'm either collecting to send to someone, items I don't have a place for, items I forget about. It just really has no rhyme or reason for what's in here right now. And it just has not worked for me in 2024 to be a organization system, to be a display box. I much rather prefer my Toyo box to hold my TNs and now my art kit or art drawer. Those are mentioned in my 2023 and my 2024 favorites video. So anyways, I really thought that this was going to be a prime piece on my desk. And as I think many of you understand, desk space is very valuable real estate. Not only do we need the space to be able to journal and lay out our materials, but we also need things on our desk to serve us for organization and stuff like that. And so there's a fine line between your desk being full of display items and organization versus open space to be able to create. And for me, I need a lot of space to create. So I would say that 80% of my desk is open so that I can lay things out, open several planners and notebooks, and I have 20% of it dedicated to things like my art toolbox to store my TNs, my art toolkit to, I'm calling it art toolkit, but it's not really a toolkit. It's an art box drawer case. I'm blanking out on the exact name of it, but that holds all my fountain pens and my ink samples. And so this has really just been kicked out in terms of being suitable for my desk. So I have this on top of a bookcase that is to the right of my desk space. And because it's off behind me diagonally and really in my blind spot when I'm sitting at my desk facing my work area, I forget about it. I forget what's in it. I don't ever really turn around at what's on my bookshelf. On my bookshelf is all of my extra pet tape rolls that I already have loops of and cut up into my sticker release inserts. So I can't ever really set this up to pull from because I never turn around to look at that bookcase that this sits on top of. So this is probably the biggest one that was a flop for me. I don't regret buying it, and I don't have any desire to let it go. I just also don't have a desire to make it work better in my system and in my journaling habit. As my journaling hobby grows and my habits change, and probably as my desk space evolves, I think this is one of those things I'm going to hold on to see if it ever fits into my space. But this is just one of those things that I thought was going to change my life when I purchased it. So this is one thing that was kind of a flop for me. And honestly, the quality is not really what I expected. I expected it to be a lot heavier, given that it's solid wood. I'm sure it's the type of wood. I bet it was intended to be lightweight so that you could actually carry it around like a toolbox, but a lot of us journalers use it just to sit at our desk and to be a display. And so I just expected it to be a lot heftier, I guess, to feel of like substantial quality. And to be honest, it doesn't feel like a luxurious quality item. It's just a wooden toolbox, but the price, I just feel like, does not reflect the quality of what you're given. So that's my honest opinion, and while I'm not in love with it, I do not dislike it enough to get rid of it. Next, in terms of accessories, I would probably say this is a deco item, my sticker collection. I can't even say that I regret it. I just bought way too much. I really thought, this isn't even everything. This is only like half of it. I have way more. But I just really thought I was going to use a lot more of these, and I just haven't this year. And I wonder, I don't really know why that could be. It might be my storage situation again. These stickers sit in this 𝘍𝘪𝘯𝘵 pouch. And then again, they're on that bookshelf that's behind me, kind of behind diagonally to me, and sits in my blind spot. So like I said, I'm not turning around and moving my chair to go view at what's at that bookcase, and this sits there. Ideally, if I had a massive desk and everything sat in front of me, like that sat there, maybe my Classiky box sat there, and I still had a lot of open journal space, then maybe I might actually use these things a lot more. It's just I'm prioritizing other things that are more important to me to sit in my field of view when journaling. So that's one thing that was kind of a flop for me. I really thought I was going to decorate like crazy with these stickers from Japan. Because they're so expensive, I got really tempted to purchase them because one sheet of this is just $1, even less than that, given that the Japanese yen was really weak at the time and still kind of is. I actually have a potential travel opportunity to go to Japan again for a week in February, and I'm already telling myself, like, Jasmine, do not buy a bunch of stickers again, because I still have every single sticker sheet that I purchased from last January. I don't even think I've finished a whole sticker sheet, and I have over 100. And so that was one thing that kind of flopped on me. Not really a regret. It's just that I thought I was going to do more. I thought I was going to use them up a lot more in 2024, and unfortunately I didn't. And seeing that pile of stickers just honestly makes me feel a little sad and a little bad about my habits and my impulsive purchasing, I guess. Although I don't regret it, it's still definitely an impulsive habit that I have, and I need to kind of cut that out for 2025. That is pretty much it in terms of products and accessories. The next category just has one item, and it's actually a pen, but it was the Platinum 𝘠𝘮𝘳𝘡𝑚 chai latte. Now, a lot of things about this pen. I loved the colorway. There was a lot of excitement in the journal community for it, and I was able to purchase it directly from Japan at the lower cost instead of with a retailer that's in the US or in the EU that adds a lot to the retail price of it, because they have to account for customs and shipping and packaging and then be able to make a profit themselves. So being able to purchase it directly from Japan was already really exciting for me to be able to get it at a more affordable price. But then when I got it in hand and felt it, I hated the matte feel. It just felt really slippery to me. I have dry hands, although I do use a lot of hand lotions and things like that. It just was not a good match for me and the matte texture of the pen. And then it was my first time experiencing a modern platinum nib, because my only other platinum experience with the fountain pen was an 18 karat gold old stock vintage, if you will, pen. And so when I tried the 14 karat with the heart cutout, I realized how hard as a nail the nib wrote, and I absolutely hated it. So there was just a lot of things going against the pen with my preferences. So I ended up selling it, and that was one of the pens that I was really, really excited for 2024 and thought I just had checked off one of my boxes in terms of my pen collection in getting something that was white-ish, neutral, but also multicolor, and with a different finish. It had a rose gold finish, and it was not a sailor because I was wanting to grow my non-sailor pen collection and was really excited about another platinum pen opportunity, and unfortunately that was a flop for me, so I resold it. So that was the only pen for me that was a flop this year, thankfully, because I had purchased a lot of pens this year. One, I guess, unofficial flop is that I ordered 2 pens from Endless Pens through a pre-order, and it was the Persimmon pen and the Red Bean pen. I'll have pictures of them here. And unfortunately, in the time it took for Endless Pens to fulfill the order, I realized and knew this about myself, that I did not want to collect any more Pro Gear Slims. And given that Endless Pens has 90 days to fulfill that order, 3 months is a long time to be waiting for a pen that you paid for and yet do not have. And so I realized I do not want to be waiting for any more Pro Gear Slim pens. Had it been a Pro Gear, it would have been a different story. I would have waited even though they had my money. But yeah, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. They gave me enough time to realize that I no longer want to collect Pro Gear Slims because they just feel too small in the hand for me. So that was another flop, but not really a flop because I didn't have to go through the hassle of reselling it. I just was able to cancel my order with Endless Pens. So moving on to my next category for my 2024 flops is planners. One of my biggest planner flops this year was trying to go to ring planners. Ring planners is just not for me. Now, I do have plotters, and plotters have worked a lot better in my system, but I still have not used them enough to say that they are a favorite. But these ring planners are definitely flops for me. So this was the first one that I tried. I really just loved the design of this. I really just fell for the hype of very popular creators on Instagram going back to their ring planners that they already owned, already had setups for. I was never a ring planner girly, and so I really just fell for the hype and wanted to join in, and so I purchased this secondhand. I did not spend a lot of money for it, and that's what really allowed me to dive in the curiosity to see if I wanted to do this. And the only issue is that since I had never done it, I didn't have any materials or supplies. I also didn't have any experience with inserts. And what I learned to hate is that it's very, very tedious, especially, not to mention that just because you buy a ring planner, you're not done. You have to pay for printables. You have to pay for already printed inserts. You have to pay for so much more still after you get the ring planner. This is really just a journal cover, and then all of the guts you still have to put a lot of effort into. So that was one thing I just did not get on board with in the ring system. I also realized that is this called a pocket? I forgot. This is a lot smaller than I thought. The ring planner, the cover of it is a really great size, but the paper size is so much significantly smaller because you have to consider the way that the paper shifts with the rings. And so while you would think that the paper would be this wide, it's actually like this wide because it would shift over and hit the edge of the planner here. And that was one thing that just really irked me and just completely threw me off in joining the rings system, trying to be in the rings community. And it was just not something I could get on board with because the paper just got so much smaller than the planner. And while this size planner was perfect for me, if the paper size was also the same width, it would have been chef's kiss. But because it was so much thinner and you lose so much writing space because of the ring margins, it was just a whole ordeal that I realized was not for me, and I was not willing to put in that much effort to find the ring size for me. But I did not quit just there yet. I tried an FCC size, and this is actually a Eternal Leather Goods cover. The only reason I also tried this was because of a very, very, very steep discount that allowed me to purchase this and try this out. I actually have some inserts here. So the reason I wanted to do ring planning was for my finance planning, logging. And so this size here of paper is a personal size. So I am currently using my plotter Bible size to do finance tracking and logging, all that stuff. So this is actually that paper size. This is just where I store my extra sheets or sheets that I'm archiving. And so you can see how much wider the FCC size is. Now, the reason I could not get on board with the FCC size is because I didn't need this big of a ring system. This is, I think, a 30mm ring, and I was just not filling up the rings that much. It was like, this is pretty much all that I needed for half of a year. And so for that many sheets of paper to sit in this big of a planner was also just not it. I love this ring planner so, so much that I have not sold it yet. The leather, it just feels so good, so luxurious. It smells amazing too. The rings are still in really nice condition. And so part of me still feels like maybe one day, maybe in the future, when my kids are older and I'm managing a lot more for them and myself, if I go back to work, then I might need a ring system like this. I've also considered maybe keeping this to do a home management planner. I honestly just have so many ideas in my head that I can't fulfill, and that's why I have so much stuff. And unfortunately, this was a flop for me. No regrets in trying it. It just didn't work out, but I am still kind of holding out hope on this. I had another one. I was able to purchase two for a really great price from the same seller. I have since sold the other one, which was an undyed leather, and have decided to keep this one in hopes that maybe in the future, somewhere along the line, I will try FCC size again. Part of trying the ring system was that I needed to purchase all of the accessories to do the ring system. So I had purchased a paper cutter, I purchased hole puncher, I purchased fountain fountain pen friendly paper for the ring system. It was just a lot more work and money for a system that I just wanted to experiment with, and in the end it did not work out. So this, alongside the Classiky, were probably the most expensive flops for 2024. This pocket Malden I am trying to sell, so if you're interested, feel free to leave me a comment, or you can email me. I will send you my email in a comment. So yeah, those are pretty much my flops. The last thing I have to talk about, I have some honorable mentions of things that really worked out and I fell in love with this year. I didn't include them in my favorites because they're kind of just really mundane things, but things that I purchased that were kind of boring, but then ended up being a really great thing in my journal, hobby, habit, and setup. So first thing is actually this desk mat. This usually sits on my desk. It's starting to get a little dark here, so I'm going to turn on the light. Forgive me for the change in light. Just a little bit of light. So this is my desk mat. It is an off-white color, and honestly, it's pretty dirty now. But the reason I wanted to get this was to protect my actual desk and keep it clean from just use and wear and tear, because I saw how quickly the desktop of my old desk deteriorated from the metal tin of a TN, from ink swatches, from just really being rough on my desk. And so I purchased this desk mat. I wanted to get a white one just so it kind of blended in, but I think I'm going to repurchase and get a bigger one and also a colored one so that I could see pet tape backings a little better. But I really love this to protect my desk, and also just this gives me a visual workspace to keep clear. So I'll put like my pet tapes here, I'll have my supplies on the side, and it just mentally forces me to keep this area clear so that I can think and so that I can be more efficient in my creative process. Another boring purchase, but I really love in addition to my desk, is this mail sorter. I purchased this from Target, and I've used this in a lot of different ways. I use this to sort incoming happy mail, things that I need to put away, anything that I purchased recently that also needs to get put into its specific spot. But lately I have been storing my 2 journals that I need to work on and be consistent with, and it is my 5-year journal and my photo a day memory keeper. And this is how it sits, and it really reminds me that as soon as I sit at my desk, I need to focus on these 2 things first before anything else. And it has really kept me accountable to stay on task and track with these 2 journals. And I just put this off to the side, and I really love it. Okay, last 2 items here of my honorable mentions. First is this SSD SanDisk. I purchased the 1 terabyte. The reason I got this is because I really did not want to upgrade my iPhone 12, but I did upgrade eventually to the iPhone 16. But this really helped to transfer all of my photos into this SanDisk, because I really did not want to keep paying for Google photo memory and for iCloud storage. And this has been such a game changer in being able to store all of my photos that I am memory keeping, because I am doing a photo a day journal. So I try to take a photo every single day. I've gotten in a better habit of it. But I don't necessarily want to delete some of these mundane photos. I still want to keep them, even though I've printed them already for my journal. So I have several folders in here. It also helps me with my content creating and my YouTube videos. But I highly, highly recommend getting a SanDisk SSD. It plugs right into your phone. It is so easy and convenient to just transfer files over, and I save so much money not paying for Google storage or iCloud and stuff like that. So another honorable mention that has been kind of like a boring purchase, but has really made such a difference in my journaling habit. let me take this desk mat away again. Next is an ultrasonic cleaner. This actually is a pretty exciting purchase, but at first I considered it, you know, like kind of a boring one. It was to help me with all of my cleaning for my fountain pens, and it makes it a lot more manageable. I purchased this off Amazon. I will have a link below in the description, but this was recommended by a friend, and especially because it will work with the lid off, and I really like that. Some ultrasonic cleaners, as soon as you open the lid, it will just turn off. So I honestly just use faucet water. My house has osmosis, so soft water. I use that to clean. I guess you could use distilled water if you live in a place with really hard water. But it has several timers, and I really enjoyed this electric cleaner. I've used it for everything outside of fountain pens as well, like my jewelry, my eyeglasses, my phone case, things like that. And it has been great. I honestly just use a little bit of Dawn dish soap. If I'm doing jewelry, I use a jewelry cleaner. But with my fountain pens, I will just use the tiniest bit of Dawn dish soap, run it a couple times, change out the water with every run until it runs clear and no more ink is coming out of the pen. So this has made cleaning my fountain pens way more manageable, because I hated standing there at the sink with a bulb syringe for so many minutes that it felt like an hour. So those are some great things that I actually did purchase. Again, not quite exciting to be in my favorites video, but something I did still want to mention. So I hope this was a fun and quick video for you guys to watch. Thank you so much for all your support this year in 2024. I am so excited to jump into 2025 with more content for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year.